Nezuko kept swinging her katana. She was starting to get used to the weight and force of it. It wasn't much, but she was making progress. And she was doing it all on her own. She didn't have anyone to teach her, so she had to figure things out by herself. She swung her katana one last time before calling it a day. She was pretty tired, and her arms were starting to ache. It was a good ache, though. It meant she was getting stronger. She went to her bed and lay down. She had at least an hour before sundown, so she could get some rest before she started grinding for XP. She needed to be at her best to handle whatever challenges she might face. She closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. Nezuko lay in bed, thinking about what kind of upgrades she wanted to add to her world. She had already put in a few mods, but there were still more she could add. She had 7 more slots in the central world, plus 5 connective worlds, each with 5 slots of their own. That meant she had plenty of space to add new things. She wanted to make sure her world was balanced, with both peace and danger. It was a good world so far, but something still felt off. It was too similar to the world she used to live in. The leveling system was the only big change. She wanted to add something unique, something that was only found in her world. Something similar to what she knew, but also a lot more different at the same time. She just wasn't sure how to do it yet. She knew, though, that whatever changes she made, she would succeed. She had come this far, and she was determined to create the perfect world. She just needed to figure out what that perfect world would be. As the sun began to set and the moon rose, casting long shadows across the forest, Nezuko stood up from her bed. It was time to hunt monsters and gain some XP. She packed the items she wouldn't need into her chest and grabbed the things she'd need for her hunt. She headed out, her eyes determined. Nezuko went into the forest, ready to get stronger. After last night's incident, she knew that she isn't near strong enough to face a demon. She decided to stay close to her base for now, just in case she ran into a demon. That way, she would have a better chance of escaping and hiding if she needed to. Suddenly, she saw some monsters. She grabbed her katana and sliced at them. She was surprised to see that she had one-shot a level 4 monster. It usually took her 3 or 4 hits to kill one. That meant her katana was really sharp and good. It could kill monsters quickly. She felt a surge of confidence. She smiled, ready to keep hunting. As more and more monsters appeared, Nezuko kept on slicing. She was on a roll. Thanks to her sharp katana, she was able to defeat a lot of monsters in a short amount of time. It was a great way to level up quickly. She was feeling good about her progress. She was also able to avoid all the demons she came across, which was a good thing. She didn't want to risk another fight like last time. Nothing much happened during her hunt, which was fine with her. She just wanted to grind for XP. The 6 hours passed quickly. She was quite tired. She decided to head back to her base to get some rest. Nezuko was extra careful on her way home. She didn't want to run into a demon again. She kept her eyes peeled and her katana ready. Thankfully, she made it back safely. She put all the items she had collected during her hunt in her chest and climbed into bed. She was exhausted. She closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. Even though she was able to kill monsters more easily with her new sword, Nezuko was only able to level up once during those 6 hours. It seemed like it was getting harder to level up. There weren't many high-level monsters spawning, and the XP required to level up was getting higher and higher. She needed to find more challenging monsters to fight if she wanted to level up quickly. The only high-level monsters she found that night were 4 level 5 and about 10 level 4. Those were enough to get her to the next level, but the rest were just level 1 and 2 monsters. They barely gave her any XP now that she was at a higher level. Nezuko sighed. She needed to find a better place to grind if she wanted to level up faster. Maybe there was a better hunting ground somewhere. She needed to figure things out, so she decided to try a different area tomorrow. Nezuko woke up feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep. She had a lot to do. First, she gathered some food by fishing for a while. She also checked on her crops and was surprised to see how much they had grown. She had only planted them yesterday, and they were already sprouting. Does the growth rate of plants really this fast in this world? She wondered out loud. It was pretty amazing. But she shook off her surprise and continued on with her day. She had a lot to do. She caught a ton of fish and even hunted a few animals. She cooked everything in her smoker. Nezuko was happy with her progress. She was starting to get a handle on how this new world worked. She was also learning how to take care of herself. And she was ready for anything. While the fish and animal meat were cooking, Nezuko went for a walk. She thought about how she should start building things on her base. She wanted to make it safer and more comfortable to live in. She also wanted to have a place to store all her stuff. She had so much stuff now. She began gathering wood, which was a little tricky at first. She still wasn't used to how physics and gravity worked in this world. But she kept chopping away, and soon she had a nice pile of logs. She started to gather stone next. She went deep underground, and by the time she came back up, it was dark. The sun had already set. She decided to save the rest of her building project for tomorrow. She was tired, and she was hungry for those cooked fish. She had a feeling they were going to be delicious. Nezuko headed back to her base, stopping to kill a few monsters along the way. She put the wood and stone she had gathered into her chest and grabbed her sword. She was going to continue hunting. She was starting to get a little frustrated. She had only managed to level up once that night. She needed to find higher level monsters if she wanted to get stronger. She didn't want to be caught unprepared if she ran into a demon. She was determined to become strong enough to handle anything. When she arrived back at her base, she decided to stay up and hunt near her base for a while. She had plenty of food and wasn't too tired. She was determined to get stronger. Plus, she had a lot of time. Most monsters were weak. They couldn't even hurt her now that she was at a higher level. She was much faster now, both in agility and reaction time. Monsters were lucky to even hit her. The only ones that could actually damage her were the ones close to her level, which are level 5 monsters. She knew that there weren't many level 5 monsters near her base, but there were plenty of level 2 to 4 monsters. She figured she could get some XP while she was at it. She also decided to chop some more wood while she was hunting. She wanted to build a big house. If she is going to live in this world, then might as well have a big house, right? As the night continued, Nezuko heard a commotion in the distance. It sounded like a fight. She followed the sound, her senses on high alert. She came to a clearing and saw a demon slayer battling a demon. The demon slayer was on the ground, barely hanging on. He was down to his last bit of health. He had no strength left. He looked up at Nezuko with pleading eyes. The demon, on the other hand, still had 10 health left. It was a level 10, a tough one. Nezuko looked at her katana. It was a good sword, a very good sword. It was sharp and powerful, and the demon was already low on health. She thought about it. She had a chance. Maybe she could kill it. Nezuko decided to do it. She knew she only had one shot. If the demon survived her attack, she would probably die. Demons were tough. They could fight at full power even when they were low on health. Nezuko took a deep breath and got ready. She had to give it her all in one attack. She charged at the demon, her katana raised high. The demon didn't see her coming. It's a surprised attack. Nezuko jumped, swinging her katana with all her might. The blade sliced through the demon's neck. The demon's head flew off, and its body crumpled to the ground. It was a critical hit. She had killed the demon in one blow. Nezuko was panting hard. She had used all her energy on that attack. But she had done it. She had saved the demon slayer. He looked at her with gratitude. He was weak and wounded, but he managed to give her a thumbs up. Nezuko smiled. She was glad she could help. Nezuko leveled up. She had gained enough XP to level up once, and she was close to leveling up twice. The demon was 3 levels higher than her, which meant it gave a lot of XP. Plus, demons were 5 times stronger than monsters at the same level, so they were worth even more XP. Nezuko had also achieved the quest. She had become a demon slayer. She was so excited. The system gave her a breathing style, a new sword, and a demon slayer uniform. The uniform was awesome. It was strong and gave her extra protection and defense. It would help keep her safe during battle. As a demon slayer, her health had increased to 80 points. It was calculated according to demon slayer standards, which meant it was stronger than the health of a normal person. Since she was level 8, she had 80 health. It would take a lot more to take her down now. And, as for her breathing style, she had learned water breathing. The information was downloaded directly into her brain. So she now knew how to use it. It was amazing. She was ready to fight. She was a demon slayer now. She was strong. She could protect herself and others from demons. She was ready for anything. Nezuko looked at the demon slayer and gave him 10 fish. He took them gratefully and began to eat. He was weak and tired, but the fish gave him some energy. He slowly began to recover. He stood up and bowed. "Thanks for saving me from that demon," he said. His voice was weak, but his gratitude was clear. "Yeah, no problem," Nezuko said with a smile. She handed him 5 more fish for the road. "Good luck on your journey." The demon slayer nodded and continued on his way. Nezuko watched him go before turning her attention back to her hunt. She spotted some zombies and charged at them. She was so strong now. She easily killed them with just her physical strength, no sword needed. She smiled. This was fun. She continued on her way, killing every monster she came across. She was a force to be reckoned with. She felt a surge of power as she dodged arrows shot by skeletons and killed them with ease. Her senses were sharp. She could sense danger before it happened. Nezuko then thought about if demon slayers at level 8 is already this strong, so she wondered how strong they were at level 50 and above. She was excited to find out. She wanted to be that strong. She wanted to be one of the strongest demon slayers in the world. She stopped in her tracks. She saw a demon in the distance. It was a level 7, a tough opponent. She took a battle stance, her katana gleaming in the moonlight. She was ready to fight. This was going to be fun.